Imagine a life where every choice you make, every word you speak, every smile you offer is shaped not by who you are, but by who you think you're supposed to be. A life where you're not living for yourself, but for an invisible audience of expectations. This is the trap of conformity, a silent prison that so many of us build brick by brick without even realizing it. Welcome to a journey into the philosophy of authenticity, where we'll peel back the layers of the masks we wear and uncover what it means to live as your true self. Get ready to question everything you've been taught about fitting in. This is going to be deep, raw, and maybe a little uncomfortable. Let's dive in. There's a certain kind of person, maybe it's you, maybe it's someone you know, who wakes up every day asking, what do others want from me? Not, what do I want, but what's expected of me? This shift in focus, this inversion of priorities, is subtle but seismic. It's like building your life on someone else's blueprint. You become a performer in a play you didn't write, reciting lines that don't feel like yours. And the cost? It's not just exhaustion, it's a slow erosion of your very essence. Because when you live to meet others' expectations, you're not just bending, you're breaking. This type of person, let's call them the adapter, doesn't see the cracks forming. They're too busy trying to be the perfect friend, the ideal employee, the flawless partner. But no matter how hard they try, it's never enough. There's always someone who's disappointed, someone who critiques, someone who expects more. Each misstep, each judgment feels like a dagger to their core. Why? Because they've tied their worth to external approval. They've mistaken being useful for being valuable, being needed for being loved. And when they're not playing the role of the agreeable, the helpful, the good person, they feel like they're nothing. But here's the thing. This isn't just about the adapter. It's about all of us. Every time you say yes to avoid conflict, every time you swallow your truth to keep the peace, every time you dim your light to make someone else comfortable, you're stepping into the same trap. You're choosing acceptance over authenticity. And deep down, you feel it. There's a quiet ache, a sense that something's off, even if you can't name it. That's your soul whispering, this isn't you. The danger is that most of us don't even realize we're betraying ourselves. We're on autopilot, chasing the rush of being liked, of fitting in. We confuse external validation with inner peace. But peace doesn't come from applause, it comes from alignment. And when you're out of alignment, your inner world starts to rebel. That rebellion isn't loud or obvious. It doesn't come with a warning label. It speaks in a language we've forgotten how to hear. And that's what we'll explore next. The hidden signals your psyche sends when you've strayed too far from your truth. In the next part, we'll uncover how your unconscious fights to bring you back to yourself. We'll talk about the strange dreams, the unexplained feelings, the subtle signs that your soul is begging you to listen. If this is hitting home, stick with me. We're going deeper. Your unconscious doesn't speak like you and I do. It doesn't send emails or leave voicemails. It communicates through symbols, sensations, and patterns that feel random but aren't. When you live a life that's not yours, when you're wearing a mask that's too tight, your psyche notices. It's like an internal compass, always, pointing toward your true north, even when you're lost in the fog of conformity. And when you ignore that compass, it starts to make noise. Those noises might be dreams that linger long after you wake. Maybe you're running from something you can't see, or you're standing in a crowd voiceless while everyone ignores you. Perhaps you're falling, endlessly, with no ground in sight. These aren't just dreams, they're your unconscious, waving a red flag. Running might mean you're fleeing from your own desires. Being voiceless could reflect a life where your opinions are buried. Falling might symbolize the loss of control in a world you've built to please others. Or maybe, the signals come through your body. A tightness in your chest that doctors can't explain. A fatigue that sleep doesn't fix. A sudden wave of anxiety that seems to come from nowhere. Your body is the stage where your psyche performs its protest. When you ignore the symbolic language of dreams, your unconscious turns to physical symptoms, like an actor shouting louder to be heard. It's not random. It's a call to wake up. And then there are the habits. You tell yourself you're fine, but you're scrolling endlessly, buying things you don't need, or working yourself to the bone just to stay busy. Why? Because silence is terrifying. In silence, you hear the questions you've been avoiding. Who am I? What do I want? Those questions burn because they demand honesty, and honesty means facing the gap between the life you're living and the life you're meant for. Existentialist philosophers like Sartre and Camus talked about this gap. They called it the absurdity of living inauthentically, of pretending to be something you're not. Sartre said we're condemned to be free to choose, but also responsible for those choices. When you choose conformity over authenticity, you're dodging that freedom and your unconscious knows it. It pushes back not to punish you but to save you. It's trying to pull you out of the haze and back to yourself. But ignoring these signals doesn't make them go away. It makes them louder. The dreams get darker. The symptoms get stronger. The compulsions get harder to shake. Your psyche is relentless. It wants wholeness, not fragments. It wants you to live as you, not as a shadow of someone else's expectations. And if you keep resisting, it might break something, your routines, your relationships, your illusions, to force you to see. Carl Jung called this the compensatory function of the unconscious. When you lean too hard into one side of yourself like the good person who never says no, your unconscious pushes the opposite. It sends angry dreams, rebellious impulses, or moments of raw emotion that shake your carefully constructed world. It's not destruction for destruction's sake, it's destruction for rebirth. And that's where we're headed next. The path to rebuilding, to becoming whole. Stay with me. There comes a point when the mask gets too heavy. You can't keep smiling through the discomfort. You can't keep saying I'm fine when you're crumbling inside. The exhaustion isn't just in your body, it's in your soul. You're tired of performing, of shrinking, of pretending. And it's in this moment of breaking that something new can begin. Jung called this process individuation, but let's call it what it feels like, coming home to yourself. Individuation isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been. It's about peeling off the layers of conditioning, the shoulds, the fears of not being enough, and finding the core of you, the part that doesn't need applause to feel alive. But this isn't a gentle process. It's a confrontation. You have to face what's been buried, the dreams you abandoned, the anger you swallowed, the fears you dressed up as duty. This means meeting your shadow, as Jung would say. Your shadow isn't evil. It's just the parts of you you've pushed away. The selfishness you were taught was wrong. The ambition you were told was too much. The vulnerability you hid to seem strong. These are the pieces you need to reclaim, to be whole. And yes, it's scary. It means saying no to people you love. It means risking rejection. It means admitting you've built parts of your life on fear, not desire. But here's the paradox. This confrontation is also liberation. When you stop living for others' approval, you start living for yourself. You might lose friends who liked the old, compliant you. You might lose the comfort of fitting in. But what you gain is your voice, your truth, your life. You start to feel solid, like you're standing on your own ground for the first time. This is what existentialists meant by authenticity. Choosing yourself, even when it's messy, even when it's hard. Individuation isn't a destination, it's a journey. It's a series of choices to listen to your inner voice over the noise of the world. It's learning to trust that your worth doesn't come from what you do for others, but from who you are. And as you walk this path, something shifts. The dreams soften, the body relaxes, the compulsions fade. You start to feel a peace that doesn't depend on anyone else's nod of approval. So what happens when you start living from this place of truth? What does it look like to step into the world without the mask? That's what we'll explore in the final part. We'll talk about the freedom and the fear of being fully yourself. By now you might be feeling a strange mix of clarity and unease. Clarity because you see the trap of conformity for what it is. Unease because you know change isn't easy. That discomfort is a sign something's shifting inside you. You're starting to question the masks you've worn, the roles you've played. And that questioning is the first step toward freedom. Living authentically doesn't mean throwing everything away. It doesn't mean quitting your job or cutting off relationships. It means showing up as you. Flaws, desires, contradictions, and all. It means saying what you mean even if your voice shakes. It means choosing what aligns with your soul, even if it disappoints someone. It means trusting that you are enough, just as you are. This choice is what philosophers like Nietzsche meant when they talked about becoming who you are. It's not about perfection. It's about courage. Courage to lose the safety of the mask. Courage to face the world with your real face, scars and all. And yes, there will be moments of doubt. There will be people who don't understand. But there will also be a quiet strength, a sense of being anchored in yourself, that no one can take away. If this resonates, you're not alone. This journey is universal, even if it feels solitary. I want you to pause and reflect. What's one way you've been conforming that doesn't feel right anymore? What's one small step you could take to honor your truth? Share it in the comments below. Write it down, not just for me, but for you. That act of naming it is a commitment to yourself. This isn't the end, it's a beginning. There's another video coming that dives even deeper into living authentically, and you don't want to miss it. The truth is, you weren't born to fit in. You were born to stand in your own truth. It's scary, it's messy, but it's also the only way to be free. Keep going. I'll see you in the next one.